Hey guys, we are here with Kodak this evening. Kodak and I are working on his healing. We have decided to add the transitional into his healing. He has gotten very big since he was a puppy into training with us. So we are adding in the transitional now so that his mom has an easier way to heal with him. And this is going to be a great tool for him. So a couple of things I just wanted to let you know and want you to understand when it comes to working with the transitional. You have to make sure that you are using like zero pressure with this. The whole idea behind these leashes and slip leads in general is having a pressure and release system. This allows you to apply the pressure to not only the pressure points in his skull, but the ones in his muzzle as well. So it drives it home a lot faster for them. So I'm going to demonstrate to you how fast and how little pressure you're going to use. So even when I do these little bits of pressure, see how much he already slowed down just by doing these little taps. Now, I'm going to demonstrate what you don't want to do, which is things like this. Okay, so see how good boy, good boy. That's what he should do. He should go to pressure when he feels, he should go to sit when he feels solid pressure like that. So that was a good boy. But pulling him in any sort of way or using pressure to get him to move with you is a big no-no. We have to make sure that this stays light. So if he's going to try and rub his face on me to get the transitional off, I'm just going to use my light to kind of bump him off me. I'm not going to use the leash to apply more tension to show him. He wants it off. So adding pressure is going to make him wig out more, right? So making sure that you keep this resting on your fingers. Do not close your fist, because when you close your fist, the only thing that you can do is apply pressure. See? As soon as he moved the head, he adds pressure to himself. And as a professional, I realized this tiny little bit of force, you can see him slow down. Look, did you see his head move right there? That's all the pressure that I'm using, like nothing. That's all I need, right? So if you're applying all this additional force, especially when you have a dog that you're so used to being a heavy puller, you're almost expecting the pressure to be there. You're going to have a world of a hard time getting him to not shake his head around and try and get that thing off and backing up and things like that. If you see him doing any of those kind of behaviors, that's because you're applying tension and you don't even realize it. You really need to learn. Good boy. Even right there, see how I did a little click? Instead of using the leash to pull him around a turn, I just kind of got him to pay attention to me. The leash is really just supposed to be there as like a safety net, right? So right there, it allows me to tell him, slow down, without needing to do it with a verbal cue that our dogs don't really understand as well as we hope they do. They don't speak English, so telling them to calm down or slow down or stop it isn't really going to help anything. So using this to really communicate to him, anytime he goes ahead of you right there, I give him that little pop to tell him, I'm in control here, not you. This is perfect. We have a nice loose leash. He's walking alongside of me. So I'm going to make those left turns. See how I'm very forceful about it? I bump into him on purpose. Right there, if he wasn't paying attention, he would have tried to, back out of that transitional if he had too much pressure on. So like even right there, learning he sees something in a tree. If I go like this and I pull him, see how he snorted? And he that's not what we want. We don't want any of those behaviors. It is meant to just be loose. And now I'm going to go, Kodak, good boy, heel. Right, so I'm going to use myself more than I am the leash. So the leash is just there for pops to say, slow down or pay attention and calm down completely. When we do a stop, he goes into that sit and pressure immediately drops as soon as his butt hits the ground. We are relaying to him, pressure means put your butt on the ground. As soon as it does, that pressure releases. Okay, yeah. Right there, he got up a little earlier than I would have liked. He should wait until you say okay. So just a little bit of pressure, 2 fingers worth. We do not need a lot of force. You want to teach him less is more. When he feels this little bit of pressure, it means I need to go into a sit. Kodak. And so I'm not adding more force. I'm adding a second force of pressure. Kodak. Good boy. So all in that time, most people would have wanted to add more tension to the leash. That's not going to help that much. All the tension is supposed to do is tell him, pay attention. It is not supposed to be a way to force him to go into a sit position. So he got up before he was supposed to. Nobody said to get up. Pressure on, pressure off, right? That's the only way that you're supposed to be using pressure. Pressure on. So right now he hears one of my neighbors. So pressure on, pressure off. And then I'm not going to have him just sit there and bask in it. I'm going to have him move. Okay. Yep. And I'm going to do turns and pops and do things to get him to refocus on me. Right? So the whole goal of a heel is to get him to focus on you. So going in a straight line is a very boring way to get your dog to focus. Right? So every time you make a turn, you're giving him some mental stimulation and making him think and make him pay attention, and you're making him follow. Following is the whole point. So right there, he passed me. That's when I'm going to turn. See, he passed me, turn. Okay, so I'm never allowing him to take the lead back. Now that I already have the lead, I'm going to keep the lead by continuing to do these turns, right? So I give a little pop there just to say you didn't realize I turned. And I'm going to keep this loose. Right, nice and loose. It's hard to not want to choke up on that leash and pull him around turns, but we really have to learn to do that. Okay, good boy. Right, so if I just do it with the one hand, I don't recommend doing that, of course, but I do this a lot, so I'm very used to this. But this really allows you to be super duper loose with this leash. See, like I'm not even using it. Kodak. Yes, it didn't even move. And so he's basically off leash healing with me right now. Kodak. Good boy. Kodak. Right, so if you turn and he doesn't realize that you turned, then he wasn't paying attention to you, right? So you need to start doing more things to get him to refocus on you. If he's just focusing on everything else around you, he's not getting a lot of mental stimulation. All he's doing is just looking and getting overwhelmed and excited by things. So giving him this mental stimulation by doing turns and making him refocus and follow your lead is really how you're going to get through all of that. Off. Right, so just offs. Not going to get all worked up. Right, so my neighbor's out. Still loose though. If I get all worked up and he starts barking at something and I tense up on this leash, what I'm doing is telling him, yeah, there's a reason to be nervous right now. Yep. Come on, bud. Good boy. Pop right there. As soon as I lost his focus. Come on. Good boy. So this is this is the first time he's used the Transitional in at least quite some time. I think we did a little bit of work with it when he was younger, but he's doing really well with it. He'll be very easy to condition with it. You just have to remember, if he isn't doing well with it, it's because you're applying too much pressure. You really need to learn to just let this thing sit here and learn to just walk with him. That's your first goal. You can clean it up later on, you can get him to be in a nicer heel once you really get him conditioned to just moving with no pressure on this. But this video has been 10 minutes and we were doing it for a good 20 minutes before we even started recording. So, in just half an hour or less, he's already doing this well. So this will be a great tool for him. Working through distractions is probably going to be your bigger thing. He gets really excited, and since he's such a big dog and he's got such a big bark and everything, it makes it sound a lot scarier than he really is. But yeah, we will work together through that. I'll of course show you how you're going to get through that part of it too. That'll be a little bit up the road as far as, working on just teaching him this tool first, getting you to feel comfortable with the tool without distractions, and then we'll add distractions in later on. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me. If anybody else has any questions or they need help with their dog, give us a call today. We'd be happy to help you like we are with Kodak. Hope everyone has a good one. Say bye, buddy.